are you? Welcome to AI Infra. It was great to see kind of the hands go up earlier when AJ and Brian was asking. There's a lot of new folks in this room. This is our 5th AI Infra, and we're really excited because this is our largest one yet. So a lot of great energy in this room. We want to thank for everybody for taking time out of their busy day to be here. Ever since AI came around, the world's moving a little bit faster nowadays, right? Even when we talk to industry friends and colleagues, everybody just feels a little bit out of breath. So for you to spend your whole day here really means a lot for us, and we want to make sure that we don't take that for granted. We have a good show for you today. What I'm here to do is just frame up the day, talk about a little bit about the problem space, why we do this twice a year, talk about how everything comes together, and just like a chef kind of telling you what's ahead for the dinner, right? We're going to just go over the agenda and just talk about how the day is going to come together so everything's going to flow just fine, okay? So real quick, I want to make sure that everybody sees and thanks our sponsors for making this happen. Without them, this is not possible. So just want to make sure that can we give a hand of applause for Supermicro, AMD, and all of our other sponsors. Sponsors, go sponsors, yes. And then so part of our responsibility, Ignite GTM, is a go-to-market agency, right? So one of our, kind of core tenets to make sure that we take complex information, we package it up in an understandable form. Not only understandable, but it's also fun, right? It's easy to digest. So in that spirit, we're always looking for creative ways to package this up for you, so it makes everything fresh and fun every single time. So one of the cool things that we're proud of, and we just want to kind of flex a little bit if we can with our partners, Supermicro, AMD, and Micus, is we got on the 101. Hey, yay. I started my career, my real work career, in advertising, right? So we were selling TV commercials, but we always looked at the billboards. They're like, that was your grandfather's advertising channel. But now, in the world of AI, if you're driving to San Francisco, it's the who's who of AI is all over 101. So for us to be on here, I think it was just a great lifetime achievement for myself as far as an advertising guy at the core. And this was really, really fun to pull off. And so hopefully this is the first of many. The other thing that we put together is a really cool collaboration with BMW. I think BMW is in the room here somewhere. BMW is an iconic brand. And for them to be able to lean in and collaborate, not only do you have the showroom cars in the front, but we also got one of these i7s in the back in the Ignite Lounge. So if you have a blue wristbands, go and check that out. We have an all-day studio filming in the back, and it was not easy getting a 17.5 feet BMW i7 into that room. So that was a really cool thing. So thank you for the Ignite team. Before we go any further, just wanted to give a little moment of gratitude. So first, for Plug and Play, thank you, Reza team, for putting this together, helping us. So thank you, Plug and Play, for making this happen. This is a fantastic facility. This is a great venue. We thought that this was a perfect home for AI Infra 5. And, everything looks like it's coming together. So thank you so much for your partnership. We talked about our sponsors. Without them, this can't happen. So thank you so much for sponsors for believing in us. There's a lot of conferences out there, right? And all those conferences feel the same. You just get a bunch of people in the room. There's a bunch of speakers that they book 12 months out. It's not with us, and they believe in kind of our format and how this comes together, and so we really appreciate you. Speakers, this is your day too. Thank you for being here. You take time at your busy days. These are, very busy folks with a lot of great things to share, and to have them share this on the stage with us is really, really meaningful. Community partners, one of the things that a lot of people comment is things feel a little bit different here at AI Infra. The rooms feels a little bit more energized. It feels like everybody knows everybody, right? And a lot of that magic really comes from our community partners, right? They bring in their networks, they get the word out, they bring and kind of weave together the energy and the relationships into this room, and we really appreciate that. Last but not least, Team Ignite, thank you so much for all this hard work. We were here until like 11:30, I think, last night, putting together the stage, the balloons, and all that stuff. All of it just so it's nice and packaged up for you guys to walk in and enjoy the day. Thank you. I can't do this without you guys. It's truly a team effort, so thank you, Team Ignite. And thank you for everybody here. Can we? A big round of applause. Okay, so let me get into the problem statement. So my background behind Ignite is 20 years in and around data centers. I started my career in 2004 after advertising, selling routers, switches, firewalls, and then as a young sales guy, I would help them racking them up in the data center. Many years later, in around 2015, cloud era came, and I was like, you know what? Nobody's even talking about data centers anymore. Everything's in public cloud. And then fast forward, and then when we're at Ignite, and when AI came, I was like, oh my gosh, data centers are cool again. We got to talk about this, right? And then this is a really, really tough problem because there's a lot of layers, what we call infrastructure. If you talk to the data guys, they call themselves infrastructure, right? And it's all true. But what we're here today, what we do is we really want to make sure that we bring all the layers of infrastructure together, from the data center, from the rack, applications, and the workflows, right? How many people here are from the data center layer side? Land, power, energy, quite a bit. How about rack level, GPUs, hardware? Yeah. Applications, agentic, great. And then business folks, enterprise, workflows, quite a bit? Okay. How many of you, now we're advanced, right? Six months ago when we were talking about workflows and applications, agentic was kind of, we were right at the footstep of that. And we were saying, yeah, it could be now widely deployed. And then in between then and now, OpenClaw happened. Who has OpenClaw installed in one form or another? Who has token anxiety now? Yeah, I started feeling that last month. And I was like, oh, this is what they're talking about. And this is why token economy is really important, because it can really exponentially move your business forward. But we really have to be mindful on how we use that. And then so the challenge here, the problem that we're trying to face is that the data center layer moves in years. Then the layer above moves in months. Application moves in weeks. Workflow changes in days, right? How do we all coordinate to move AI forward? All of our AI aspirations is bottlenecked by infrastructure. So the only simple answer is that we need to be able to convene twice a year. We do Silicon Valley in the spring. We do San Francisco in the fall. We want to make sure that all these layers start talking to each other, building partnerships, collaborations, right, and move things forward. Okay, so let's go into some of the stats because we have some cool ones. This time around, we have Mr. Dean Nelson from iMasons. Dean, can you just wave your hand? He's right here in the front row. We really appreciate the partnership with iMasons. Dean was at the last event. He was like, Bill, stop using these McKinsey and PwC stats. I got real stats for you. And we got this report that's releasing. And it's like, yeah, this is great. Because if you know anything about iMasons, these are the builders of the builders. $3 trillion of active projects within their group. So they've seen a thing or two. And then this is a fantastic report. Make sure that we're gonna send a link to this report for everybody that came to this event. But there's a lot of great stats in here. So you were really looking at it from the builders and the architect's lens. Some of the big numbers. Total digital infrastructure capacity, 373 gigawatts. 71 gigawatts active, 22 under construction, and 200 gigawatts underway in development. That's a lot of power globally. And then the spread on that, US, we're at the center of it all. More than half is based here in the US, and it's going to be growing, right? And that's why a lot of it, I talk about the head of the dragon. A lot of in the US is where all the data centers are, but here in Silicon Valley is where the world changes first and fastest because that's where the conversations are happening, like in a room like this today, right? So it really kind of frames up the importance of why we're here together, why we need to work together, and to be able to advance our AI aspirations. The investments, hyperscalers, $500 billion this year alone in digital infrastructure. Another $3 trillion on hardware. And if you just add that up, it's more than a lot of countries' GDP. That's insane, right? But we're going to continue to build out. Again, this is why all the layers need to work together. Behind that, the biggest bottleneck is around power. 4 years on average to get power from a utility company. And if you ever work in a data center project, that is one of the biggest bottlenecks that just even working with a utility company, they move at a different speed, but then they have a long queue of folks asking for power, right? So this is really, really where a lot of the bigger bottlenecks are. And a lot of projects have been delayed just because we couldn't get these approvals in time. The second layer of power is once we get the power in the data center, the bottleneck is in rack density. This is why 90% of the existing data centers in the market today aren't able to handle AI workloads because there's not enough power routed into the racks, each rack. So some of these traditional data centers, we're talking about 10 kW, maybe 40 to 50 kW air-cooled, right? We see some projects now that are easily speccing out at 170 kW per rack. So that means if we can't go into existing data centers, we're going to have to build new ones, hence the bottleneck, hence the traffic jam that we're all facing. And then there's a couple of trajectories here. From the NVIDIA side, they're saying get ready for the megawatt rack. And we're like, where is that going to live? I don't know. But then also, what's the other trajectories that's going to happen is inferencing is going to be coming, right? And that's going to be changing the profiles a little bit. And there's a lot of technologies, especially from our partners at AMD, that's able to be more efficient within a certain power envelope to be able to get into more of these legacy architectures so that we can keep on deploying our infrastructure. Jensen mentioned inferencing. This is not even the biggest wave. Inferencing will be 100x. I believe it's minimum, safely, anybody that's been in infrastructure for a while, 10x. So whatever excitement that you see right now, right behind this, we got a 10x wave, right? And inferencing is going to happen, and it's going to be deployed in a different form and fashion. It's not going to be these big monolithic data centers where we're going to be a little bit smaller, more agile. It's going to be closer to the edge. Think about the patterns of the past when cloud started proliferating. We're talking about different kinds of edge. We have the data center edge. We have the telco edge, the 5G edge. We have the branch office edge, right? So AI is going to really, really change the architecture of this. And so it's not going to be just GPUs, but also CPUs are going to be back in play, different form factors. Our partner, Supermicro, huge catalog of different compute options, right? And this is really where they're going to make a lot of big advancements in inferencing. So let's talk about the day real quick. Big packed agenda. Every single time we put this together, the feedback is like, there's a lot here. And we're like, okay, we're going to keep on curating and making sure that we distill the best of the best here, right? So right after my presentation, I'm glad we always have a futurist on stage. So my friend Jeremiah Ouyang is going to be presenting. And he just completed a TED Talk in October. If you haven't seen it online, it's fantastic. It really talks about why Silicon Valley and San Francisco is the epicenter of AI. So today he'll be talking about what this means from an AI infrastructure lens. Behind this, we have our partner presentations, AMD, Supermicro, HyperXL. We have panels, responsible AI. The horse is out of the barn. Everybody's using it, but I think we still have a chance to put some guardrails around this, right? And making sure that we're looking at it responsibly. That's a conversation that always needs to happen and needs to continue to happen. And then we're going to be having a NeoCloud panel led by our partners at vCluster, talking about the transformation of NeoClouds going from just bare metal GPUs now looking, feeling, walking, talking like a hyperscaler, right? So that's going to be a very interesting topic. So anybody that's really in infrastructure and watching this evolution, this is going to be a very good talk. And that wraps up our morning block. We're going to break for lunch upstairs at 12:30 to 1:30. We're going to come back here. We have a one-on-one fireside chat with Hammerhead. That's going to be very interesting. And then we have a list of great roster of presenters, keynotes, and we're going to finish the day with two panels. One is going to be around the token economy, led by our friends over at the Compute Exchange. Token anxiety, right? I'm feeling it as a small company, but like when we're talking about scaling that, it's going to matter a lot. And then we're going to, the grand finale, Mr. D. Nelson is going to lead a panel talking about infrastructure and how there is a incoming power crisis that maybe we're not even thinking about, the conversion from AC to DC. And that's going to change a lot of active development that's in progress. So with that said, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you guys are here. I hope that you have a great day. Our staff is here to help you make sure that everything's flowing right. Let's have a wonderful day. Thank you.